cool helmets, and training for virtual bombing runs, the Air Force is headed towards some interesting upgrades for their high-flying crews in coming years. Everyone knows that serving on an Air Force aircraft is a lot like being a hockey goalie. Part of the draw is you get to wear a cool helmet. But for a lot of air crews, their headgear is based on 1980s technology. So one small but vital improvement is a new aircrew helmet that the Air Force recently bought, which will catapult crews using 1980s design tech into the 2020 stratosphere. Air Force officials selected Lift Airborne Technologies to develop the new aircrew helmet prototype. Isn't a helmet just a shell, a kind of a brain bucket to keep crews from banging their heads while in the aircraft? Nope, this helmet isn't your grandpa's skull saver. That's because back when the current helmet was designed, users didn't have to attach all kinds of devices, displays, and accessories to their helmets. Mounting a bunch of items to the helmet can throw off the center of gravity. And old helmets were built for the average pilots and average crews, mostly men. Well, much like the Army recently updated body armor to better fit female soldiers, Air Force female pilots and crews also need a greater range of sizes. And users of any gender need it to balance well on their heads. That's why Lift is working on it now. They've gathered the data since after starting the project in 2019 with AFWorks, an Air Force unit that finds cutting-edge tech that the Force needs, and officials expect the new helmet, which would include features such as a single pivot visor, rotatable receivers, hands-free cockpit illumination, a magnetic chin strap, low-profile night vision mounting plate, and a nuclear flash attachment in case those crews are flying into the apocalypse. That helmet is expected to go into production by 2024. On a bit of a longer but no less crucial timeline, there's a new $80 million virtual range that will allow pilots in the Air Force to test out laser weapons and defense in a safe virtual environment. The service contracted with Blue Halo to build the Directed Energy Modeling and Simulation Virtual Range. That's a mouthful. The decade-long project will give users a realistic way to run war games and battle scenarios with simulated laser weapons. While each of the services have dedicated air combat ranges, Military Times has reported in recent years that such ranges all require major upgrades for pilots to use their full weapons systems and full weapons gear and complement. From smarter bombs and missiles to more effective radar and other sensors, pilots have been flying right now with one tech hand tied behind their back for years. With those upgrades taking years to fund and fill, laser weaponry took somewhat of a backseat on the simulation development front, until now. Blue Halo currently produces counter-drone laser systems, electro-optical tracking devices, radio frequency surveillance systems, human-machine interface software, and a variety of artificial intelligence products and a host of other high-tech gear. The Air Force Research Laboratory out of Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico, announced the project in June, after the service had held a laser wargaming event in January. The point of that exercise was to have pilots integrate both kinetic, think bombs, missiles, things that go boom, and non-kinetic weapons, think silent, kind of invisible or likely invisible lasers, melting, jamming, or disabling components of other aircraft. Sorry, no boom. No space-age sci-fi pew 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 either. Lasers are not as awesome to look at as you might think. But by having a dedicated laser-focused range, see what I did there? A range focused on lasers, the Air Force hopes to push pilots to the next level of air combat. We'll keep tracking all things laser combat and more. With Military Times, this is Todd South.